I'm told that the Prime Minister and the New South Wales Premier have now reached this deal for the financial support that will be flowing not only to businesses but also to workers who have been impacted by the lockdown. We're expecting to see an announcement on this in the next hour or so from the Prime Minister and Premier standing side by side. It follows some pretty heated back and forth, though, behind the scenes between these two levels of government, debating exactly what should be on the table in terms of support. In terms of what to expect, we could see an expansion of this COVID disaster payment that goes to workers, increasing the maximum amount, which is currently $500 a week, on the table. Also a potential that they could change some of the eligibility criteria, meaning more people in Sydney would be eligible to get the payment. There's also the expectation that there will be cash flow support on the way for businesses struggling to keep their doors open. There's not clear exactly what mechanism has been landed as a part of this deal, but it is understood that it would see businesses tied to their workers, similar to what we saw in JobKeeper in some senses, to ensure that you don't just see massive amounts of staff laid off once businesses get this support. What do businesses want, though? Sky News this afternoon has spoken to some of them on the Lower North Shore in Sydney.
It's sort of very depressing, sort of coming in every day.
If this goes on for another month, what does that mean for you?
That's a really bad sign. I'm unable to know exactly how much that would affect us. I mean, we're trying to limit sort of money coming in at the moment. Another month would really tip the scales. I think we'll see a lot of small businesses close on that.
Have you had to lay off staff?
Yeah, we've told people that we don't have anything from at the moment.
What are you needing from the government?
Well, look, I think there's multiple things that we can get from the government. I think we could probably ask them to reinstate some kind of, like the JobKeeper thing that we had last year.
Have you had to lay off any staff because of this?
Absolutely. So we have to trim most of the floor staff, so we probably don't need them because we're doing a takeaway and delivery.
If the lockdown continues for, say, another month, what impact is that going to have on your life?
I don't know. Yeah, I think businesses are really bad at the moment. I would say at least 70% decline, and we probably have to live on a saving for now.
So pretty grim assessment there about what this lockdown means for businesses. As you heard there, some saying they would like to see a JobKeeper-style payment reintroduced. That's certainly the push from the New South Wales Labor leader as well. Chris Minns arguing on Sky News this afternoon that that's so critical to ensuring on the other side of a lockdown that there are workers that are with businesses so that they can kickstart when we do see the lockdown come to an end.
Yeah, look, it does look like it's heading in the right direction, but it's obviously a day late. We're hoping it's not $1 short. The government really needs to have something. They can call it whatever they want. They don't have to call it JobKeeper if, for political reasons, they don't want to. But we do need financial support for businesses to keep their employees on the books. That's the key element, I think, to having a robust economy once the lockdown's lifted.
And Trudy, I'm speaking to the Shadow Treasurer Jim Chalmers shortly. What have you made of the Labor message on this ahead of the details being announced?
Well, Kieran, we have seen a growing chorus of calls from within Labor that what's coming out from Scott Morrison looks like a special deal that's been done for Sydney. The government insists that whatever is reached today with the New South Wales Premier will be nationally consistent going forward. So if you do see this sort of long lockdown in another jurisdiction, that the policy settings we see now will be translated there. But that hasn't stopped this argument from Bill Shorten leading the case today that this sort of support wasn't on the table for Victoria when they went through their lockdown a few months ago.
I don't think there should be two classes, that if it happens in Sydney it gets special love from Scott Morrison, if it happens in Victoria you don't. I think there are probably some Victorians who feel that Scott Morrison seems to be taking a greater interest in business support for Sydney than in Melbourne. I feel that too, to be honest. He didn't visit us in the hundreds of, in the 100+ days we were locked down. That surprised me. The job of the Prime Minister is to be there giving support.
And Kieran, we have just seen the latest vaccination numbers for yesterday. That vaccination number has ticked over 9.3 million now, and 154 doses in arms yesterday. It's not quite a record, but it's close.